and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and we've got a full house, and we've got a fun house tonight. First, I'm going to introduce our regular panelists. We've got Melissa Barker, aka the Archive Lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Cheri. Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
With her relative race shirt in the background. Cool. Thanks for putting that up so we can see our relative race shirt. And we've got Laura Hedgecock. She's here from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hey, Laura. Uh-oh, can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Got it?
Sometimes, I said hi.
Yeah, sometimes we sit on our
How
microphone
is everyone?
Buttons. It's all good. Thanks. I'm glad
you're here. I think I sat on my button.
Yeah, we all do that from time to time. It's all good. We're glad you're here. And we've got Dan Earl. Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going?
The family history guy. Our one lone male panelist. We're so happy that Dan.
He's our Y chromosome.
That's right.
Chromosome. And Dan got snow today.
I did. Oh, yeah, about 2 inches of snow up here. So.
Yeah.
So
wow. Laura,
where's that snow?
Yeah, Dan and I don't live far apart.
Oh.
Where do they live?
So
we live in Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Okay, East Coast.
So they got snow today, so that's kind of cool. And we have Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Hello, Mary.
Hi there.
I'm so
good to be here.
And Mary's in Seattle, people. So
yes.
Are you done? Are you done with your quarantine? Are you done, or do you still have?
My official house arrest is over with.
Oh, good.
But I'm still sticking pretty close to home.
Yeah, for everybody that doesn't know, Mary went to Israel. And she got
for 2 days.
And they kicked her out.
They kicked her out because she was staying in a hotel where somebody had tested positive. So
wow!
To Seattle.
No.
So we're glad that she's healthy and fine. Well, for those of you who haven't noticed, we have a fun group in the house. We have our relative race teams from our past season, and making another special guest appearance, we've got Joe and Jerica from season 4. And you guys, they haven't ever met each other before. I think that's so cool. You would think that maybe through social media or something, you guys would have met each other. So we are happy to be able to have you all on tonight. So Team Black-Joe and Jerica from season 4, and then last season we've got Deshay and Chris. They're here. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having us.
We're so good. We've got Anitra down there all by herself. She's down the bottom of my screen.
Tooth, you coming in here?
We're missing Paul, but hopefully he's coming. We've got Ray and Nicole. Hi, Ray and Nicole.
Hey.
And I really want to thank Ray for this, because he reached out and said, "Hey, can we come back on GenFriends?" And I said, "Well, of course you can. Like, I'm going to tell him no."
Yeah.
So we're so happy that you're here. Thank you for suggesting this and coming on. And then last but not least, we've got Jen and JD. Thank you for being here.
We lost you, Cheri.
Uh-oh.
For a minute.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there you are.
Am I here? Okay. Sorry. Jen and JD are here. Woohoo! We're so glad you're here for this clash of
social distancing is at its finest, I guess.
Exactly. And I'm happy to be able to introduce season 6 to Joe and Jerica from season 4. Now, I have to say that I've been very concerned about Joe, because in this world of hoarding toilet paper, he was a little worried about his hair product. So,
and yet his hair still looks fabulous.
Fabulous.
We expect nothing less.
Exactly. So you are here to tell us that you're okay, and we don't need to send you anything, right?
All good here, but thank you for thinking.
Always thinking about you.
Don't resort to Aquanet.
Always thinking about you. So yeah, panelists, whoever, somebody, you want to ask questions, fire away. We're here to liven things up and maybe have a little fun. I know that the country is, going through this coronavirus, and there's some serious stuff going on out there. But if we don't take a few minutes to just laugh and hang out with people, it's just gonna be horrible to try to get through. So I thought this was such a fun idea to get together and have a little real embrace party tonight. So thank you. Anybody got any questions for anybody? Oh, there he is.
There's Paul.
Hey.
Paul,
Hey. How's it going?
We're good. Welcome.
What's going on? Thanks.
Cheri,
I have a question.
Oh,
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
I was just going to ask if any of you guys have got the bug enough to be doing research on your own. Are you using this self-quarantine time to do a little online research?
Yeah, we've had an incredible opportunity to do some incredible amount of research. There's a member of my family who introduced himself through social media, who actually traveled from Arizona here and spent a full day showing us the extensive line from where my family originates and how we're connected. And he and I are fourth cousins, 4 times removed. But it's been incredible to learn about that entire genealogical line.
Wow. Fourth cousin 4 times removed. You know, sometimes I think we can't learn from those people. Like, oh, they're so distantly related. But I mean, sometimes these are the people that have the family Bibles and have the documents that we can't find, or the family stories that we can't find. So that's incredible that he reached out. That is so cool.
I actually had a cousin, it's actually her husband is a cousin of mine, and she found me on Facebook after the show because of the book that my Uncle David gave me. She recognized the name and was like, well, that's my husband's family name. And so she's huge into genealogy, and so her and I have been able to connect and exchange stories and like just dive into it. And I'm actually going to lend her the book that Uncle David gave me so that she can read it and kind of put the pieces together for her husband's side of the family. And her teenager is really into genealogy, and I think that's just like an awesome resource. And so yeah, since the show, we've done a lot of, and Chris too, done a lot of digging into our trees and seeing how far back we can get and just connecting with more people. It's really awesome.
It's cool.
That is great. Anybody else? Before we go, because I know Laura had a question, but go ahead if anybody else wanted to say something about that.
So today, my sister, who I know my show was really all about my brother and things like that, but my sister reached out to me today, not too long ago, and it's my father's daughter. And just to say, I hope you're staying safe from the coronavirus. And I hope you don't have it. If you do, stay far away. But if you don't, come see me sometime.
Oh God!
We'll talk to her at the end of this call. But
that's wonderful.
It's just amazing to keep people. Finding people, meeting people popping up out of nowhere, just saying, hey, you got a minute to talk. I go still check my ancestry and see if any new names popped up. And me and Lamont noticed a common name on there, and we're like, wait a minute, that's not on our mom's side. So we are related through some cousins on our father's side, some kind of way. Just wraps all around. So
oh, good.
Yeah, it always good. And then with the other people from season 6 too, we keep meeting each other every day. So
and I love that about you guys. I do. I just love that about you guys. They're just, and we've said this so many times, and not that the other seasons, I love the show. You guys know I love this show. There was something unique about you guys' connection on this show that we haven't seen. Now, Joe and Jerica, you guys keep up with the people on your season, right?
Oh yeah, we talked to Austin through Marco Polo a lot.
Hey,
Paul.
Welcome to the party, brother.
People asking too many video blogs to see
We're your
everybody.
adopted team now.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, and so I know everybody stays in touch, but there was something unique about this season. Just something unique about the love y'all share and still share with each other. And I know that y'all got together last Friday, and that's kind of where this came from, as Ray reached out and said, hey, y'all just can't stay away from each other. That's
no, we can't.
We can't, yeah.
We're stuck.
It's a credit. It's a credit to our spouses, to be honest with you. Ray's an incredible guy, and Deshay's an incredible person, and Anitra's awesome. But honestly, it's our spouses that have kind of held the glue together and made it possible for us. And I constantly thank Paul and Jen and Chris for all that, and Nikki for all that they do to help us stay together. Our spouses are making a difference in our life.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that may be part of the point is that, you know, for the first time, we're all married couples. You know, we're all fairly close to the same age. So, you know, the times that things that happened are, you know, so close to home to, you know, each of the four that were actually adopted.
And we were all seeking a parent, you know, or two. And so I think it was just kind of the, we've all said this, that we were all just meant to be on this season. So I do think that's what makes us unique, but we all have similar traits, but also opposite traits. And it's hilarious when we get together. It really is. I did want to say, we've not met Joe and Jerica, but we've talked to them on social media a lot. I know most of us have all connected with him, both of them. On social media, and so, you know, we feel like we know you guys. We'll adopt you into our season. We want to meet the other teams of your season too. So
exactly.
we need to make that happen.
Exactly. I think there just needs to be just a team reunion. All the teams for all the seasons, and I would recommend we would do that like the day before, like tech starts. Get everybody out there, so all the fans can.
That would be amazing.
I would love that.
That would be so much fun. So we need to plug that, you know, because hey, we are saying it was because of us we did the Where Are You Now series, because we kept saying we want to know what's happened to everybody, and then they started doing it and we're like, oh, they listened. So I'm sure they had that in the works way before we kept suggesting it, and they don't pay attention to what we say anyway, but we like to say it was because we said that. Laura, a few minutes ago, you wanted to say something, and we
y'all kind of answered it. What I was going to say is, first, let's see if they have any questions for each other. But if you've all seen each other last Friday, then hopefully there's not too much stuff that's arisen in the last few days that you need to ask each other.
Like 15 minutes ago. Yeah.
We've actually seen each other in person as well, so.
Which I think is so wonderful that y'all will do that.
We can't get rid of each other.
You can't now because you got a social distance, so you're gonna have to wait.
Well, yeah, not now. This was pre-corona,
right?
Pre-corona.
Pre-corona. Their lives are gonna start being pre-corona.
Isn't there a song that says that?
Pre-corona. Yeah, exactly.
So look, I got a question for everybody. Has anybody? This is a very serious question, so it may hit a soft spot for people, right? Has anybody been able to find toilet paper anywhere?
Soft spot. I get it. Soft spot.
Soft spot. You see what I did?
I did today.
Our
local Walmart, actually, I was walking through and somebody said, we got toilet paper over there. So, of course, everybody was heading towards the toilet paper. I don't know how long it lasted, but I actually was.
Is it a limit? Is it a limit on it?
A limit, one per household.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Costco they keep getting it in and they limit it. And so stores are getting it in. I think you just it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Well, we're officially shut down here in Maryland. Everything's shut down at 5 p.m.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Tennessee hasn't shut down completely yet, so
Neither has South
we're
Carolina.
expecting it at some point.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. South Carolina, if we could just keep people from, gathering on the beach and the
oh yeah.
like, guys, don't make them shut our beaches down.
They shut the beaches down here,
Yeah, I know they did. We haven't yet, but they did say today in groups of more than 3, the police are going to come make you move. So I'm like, don't shut down my beach, or at least I can go take a walk.
What about your family? I mean, Cheri, your family's so huge.
Well, I've only got 2 kids that live with me, so it's okay. We're good. But
we went over the limit on Sunday easy.
Oh yeah. JD and Jen are breaking the law.
Well, we're trying to make them move out into tents, but they want to live with us still.
Yeah, luckily I've only got 2 that are still living here. So my couple of my kids Sunday, they went to see my mom and my son-in-law's father, but they talked to him through the window because they're. It was so sad to see them talking to them through the window. So
It is. It is
was
sad.
Very, very sad. But Joe and Jerica, do you have any questions for anybody since you haven't met any of these teams face to face?
Real quick, I will say as far as research in my own family history, I was in New York City back in December, and I went to Ellis Island, and I was able to find my mom's grandmother, my mom's grandmother who had passed through Ellis Island when they immigrated from Syria. So that's a new interesting piece that I was able to.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
That's very cool.
I love that.
And I think we agree with you all that your season was by far like the one where it's like, we want to root for all of them. Like usually there's one that you gravitate towards, but everyone fell in love with all of you guys. So we're honored to be a small part of your family, even though we've just connected through like social media.
Yeah. No, we joined your family. We joined you guys' family.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that because it was driving me crazy. I'm watching it back, and I don't even want to know who gets strikes.
Oh, I know.
I just want, because that's how I felt too watching it. Like, just want everybody to make those connections, and you don't want.
Exactly.
Well, and we felt the same way, every day. It's like, nobody wanted to be in last and everybody wanted to be in first, but even if you got first place, you still, were so, heartbroken about the person that got the stripe that day. And, the victories were kind of short-lived because of that.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly.
And
Joe, when's the last time you were face-to-face with a llama? Just wondered, have you seen any since the show?
No, I got my fix though.
Did you get yourself like a stuffed llama?
Yeah, we need to buy Joe a llama.
We do. We need to get him a great big llama.
So I want to know when Joe's last washed his car.
It was an alpaca. I was
An alpaca.
That's true. That's true. They were alpacas. Right. You're right. They were alpacas. You're right. I'm sorry, Mary. You want to know?
I didn't even have to consult my green notebook. I knew that one.
Yeah. Good thing you're here to keep me straight. Let me tell you. Mary wanted to know when's the last time you washed your car, Joe.
Well, I haven't driven it in 2 days. So. Wow, it's actually been a while.
He needs to sponsor a car wash.
I am curious. Well, one thing, we actually, we kind of knew a little bit of what you guys were in for because we were able to test a couple of the challenges prior to your season filming. So we did the sumo one and trebuchet.
No, trebuchet, yeah.
The sumo one was
come on.
We were in those sumo wrestler outfits, and they were so giant. And like,
I don't know how you guys.
I'm such a short person. Like I'm only 5 foot, and like you can't walk.
And it was like 83 degrees.
And it was like 83 so were you successful? That's what I want to know. Did you successfully complete the challenge?
No, not in the test run. And at one point, I fell over, and it was such a heavy suit, I couldn't get back up.
All we did was laugh the whole time. It was just
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Laughing.
And then they start filming us because they're like, "Oh, we got to use this for something."
Good. Now, I know that recently there was a call out for people who lived in Utah to come. Did anybody get to do it? Anybody?
Got it. We were going to try to go, but it was just right there after my brother passed away.
Oh, yeah, that was,
It would have been nice because we're close. I mean, it would have been a fun day.
Yeah, it would have been fun. And I know at Roots Tech they were doing one. They had one that was, I guess it said relative race, and you had to turn the boxes around. It was like one of those puzzle things.
That was going to be hard.
That was going to be really hard because I was watching people just stand there staring at it, and I went, "This is not going to be so good." So, Anitra, tell us about you guys' time at Roots Tech. Did you enjoy yourself?
Oh man,
you were swarmed with people. That's for sure.
It was so much fun. Joe kind of prepared us for it. Yeah. He said,
you know, it's going to be so cool. The experience is fun, but I don't know if we were expecting that, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans. Did he say watch out for that Cheri lady, because she's gonna stalk you and find you and go try to talk to you? Just run away. Hey, wait a minute.
I have a question for Joe, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, I want to know how you got so good at wrapping things, because
oh gosh, yes.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'm awful still, and you're just amazing.
Yeah.
Rap battle, y'all, rap battle.
I actually just baked it till I maked it. I still don't know how to
Great job.
You're a good faker, because I'd watch you wrap those things on the show and go, I can't. My packages, my kids tease me because
I can't either.
I don't have the patience. I'm like, whatever, slap through the tape. You're going to rip it off anyway, so here.
Tape is my friend. Tape is my friend. My family hates it when I wrap things because I use so much tape.
I just get a bag.
Yes.
In the bag.
Right. Perfect.
Put the bed. Yep. Put it in the bed.
Brag on him for a minute. He is an amazing rapper because he actually does work at it. Like, he practiced before the show as far as working towards it. But he was always a phenomenal rapper.
Yeah.
Like, he's always done crazy awesome Christmas present rapping. So,
But as you guys know, like, it's doing relative race. It's not always even about what you're doing on the show. It's all the elements behind the scenes that come to play.
Right.
How tired you are and how you're stressed, or all of this stuff is going on and flying around you. So.
And people dogging you because you kept making fans. I mean, really.
I'm a fan of the fan.
I'm a fan of the fan.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
That's right.
So if y'all didn't watch Rap Battle, you need to go find it and watch it, because
That was awesome.
It was really fun.
Joe was
Hey
great
Joe,
on it.
I didn't know that it was about wrapping gifts, because I was about to get me and my cousin Paul. We were gonna get in the studio. We were gonna drop some bombs on you, Joe. We didn't know. We didn't know we were gonna drop some bombs on you. But then I saw the gifts and I knew I was gonna lose.
Hey, Ray, did you say Paul or Anitra?
Anitra.
I mean, really?
Anitra.
No, he said Paul.
No.
No, Nick
said it right.
Nick said it right.
Yeah.
Too funny. That's too funny. Dan Earl, you haven't said a word.
No, what's
What's
wrong?
with
I've
you?
been watching. We've been getting caught up this week with my kids because my kids haven't seen season 6, and so so my kids were like all excited at dinner. They're like, "Can we come in?" I'm like, "I don't think so, because you guys will make it great." There's 6 of them, Cheri. That is 5.5 too many.
Does anybody in here care? We don't care. Let them.
No,
There's
you can just let a half of one in.
half of one end.
Yeah.
I can bring the 3-year-old in. She's
That's
cute
the one
at
that
least.
behaves the
She's
best.
cute at least. He says she's
Right.
cute at least. You
So
will be their hero. You can get them to do anything all week.
I know. You should.
I doubt that. I do not have
You
that
should
kind of
take
power.
advantage of this opportunity
But
and milk
people,
it.
These
We
people
have that kind of power.
have the kind
That's
of power.
true.
That's what I'm saying.
They have that kind of power.
They
But I
will
will
take
say,
one look at this panel and go, "Dad, you're our hero." Because my
I will
grandkids
say
do that.
that during the Trebuchet episode, as soon as it comes on and they said catapult, my 13-year-old son goes, "That's a Trebuchet," and then like not even a second later, Chris was like, "It's a Trebuchet," and he's like, "I like that. Go green."
The same thing Chris said.
That's so
You
funny.
can definitely let him in.
Yeah, you can let him in.
Come
Let
in.
him in. Let him in. We really don't care, Dan. If they want to come in, they can come in. We really don't care.
All right, I'll see if my wife's put him asleep yet.
Because
or
seriously, you would be
if
their
they have
hero.
her tied up.
Because let me tell you, Dan made a video for my grandkids, and they think that's just the coolest thing on the
You know,
planet.
you're the
So-
best friend ever.
Because I got Dan to talk to him, and he did it by name, guys. He did it by name.
That's
So-
awesome.
So, yeah, Dan, your kids will think either that or they'll come in and be all shy and don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, that's probably, they'll just be like, "Those are people from TV," and then they'll just like stare.
They're still on TV though. It's just
Right,
on
yeah,
the
exactly.
screen.
More interactive.
That is so funny. while we're waiting for Dan's kids, anybody else
Yes.
have any questions? Or while we're waiting, anybody got something they want to ask or say or do?
Oh, I've got a question.
All right.
All right. So season 6 was for me a really emotional season. Like I really felt it in every episode. So what most affected you from another team? Not your own experiences, but what from another team really just floored you where you're like, wow, like we could see that emotion when you guys were checking in at the end of every day, but which one just hit you the most from another team? Can't be your own.
For me, since everybody was looking for their parent, the episode when they found out about their parent really hit me every time. Every single time. JD finding out about his dad, and just seeing the pictures, and that they're each other's face twin. And then Anitra, her finding the episode where she got to learn more about her mom, and then just seeing the pictures and they looked identical. And then of course Deshae, when she met her dad and her mom, but when she met her dad first, it was like, oh, because it was like everything was going on, and then when her dad showed up, it was like, oh. Yeah. And then they were like face twins, so it was just amazing. It was amazing.
I agree that it's the parent episodes for me. You could see Deshae's dad was in love with her. Like it was like that's how you know that a parent really you could from the beginning. There was no scripting. It wasn't about the cameras or anything. That was genuine love. When I saw what Anitra's story about her mom and that walk she had to make, not knowing that I was about to do something similar, right? But just that just, man, oh man, that kind of ripped my heart out, put it back in, and then I just started crying. It just, man, that was amazing. And then, even, I know you haven't seen all of the seasons, but on day 2, just with JD, just seeing that it's something about going in with some kind of hope and wanting to know, and then kind of seeing that whole air come out the room. It hits you in an emotional place. The parents got me for everybody.
And for me, it was a little bit different, Dan. Absolutely, the parents were powerful, but the living relatives and the way that they cared for the people I care so much about. I mean, Jenny and I would wake up every morning and pray for these other teams. We'd go to bed every night and pray for these other teams. From 2 weeks before the show started, we fell in love with these people, and we wanted more for them than we wanted for ourselves. And when I got to see, Anitra's uncle care about her the way that he cares about her, it was one of the most moving experiences of my life. Ray's brother, my boy Lamont, when he got to love on his brother and hold him and take care of him, it was absolutely incredible. And then there was a moment, and I think it got missed a little bit. I think it got overshadowed. There was a moment where one of Deshae's uncles was literally pouring a blessing out upon her, and it touched my heart so much. I just couldn't believe it. Those were the moments for me. The living relatives who loved us unconditionally was really special.
For me, I ugly cried, well, pretty much the whole 10 days, but specifically the first
So did we all
3.
watching, but we didn't have to be on camera. So.
With the loss of a parent, because, we all connected in wanting to find that so badly. So that shattered me, every time that, like JD said, someone that I loved and cared about found out that they weren't going to get that opportunity, but still being able to truck on. But the one that really hit me is Lamont and Ray. And I think that's mostly because Ray, even though we have similar stories, all of us really, but Ray's is slightly different. I think that meeting, him meeting Lamont, there was a shift. You could see that Ray, this is just a Skype call. I'm seeing a little square, but I could tell that there was a shift, like there was a weight lifted off of his shoulder, and that healing was already happening in him just in that instant. And, we don't get to see the door scene. We don't get to see, the actual meeting of, we just get to say, hey, this is this is who this is. And just in those small moments, you know, you could see that, you know, there was this healing and this light on Ray. And I mean, I have chills right now because I was just so ecstatic for Ray. And I mean, everybody and all we met, but Lamont was, I knew every day, because Ray would be like, oh, I just hope I get to meet my brother, hope I get to meet my brother.
Yeah.
And that was just like, he's like, this is my brother Lamont. And I mean, we just fell out. Like, it was, I have chills. It's so good. So good.
Beautiful. It was beautiful. Anybody else? That was a great question. Joe and Jerica, whether it's, you know, your season, another season, what stands out for you?
That's a hard decision. That's like trying to figure out what I'm gonna wear. Like, they all were we were sobbing in every single episode watching you guys.
Yeah.
Because the connection, like, we feel like we know you guys. So it's just the way they film it and the way they give you your space and kind of protect those moments that help it feel really real. So
I definitely feel that for our season, well, both Mike and Precious finding their stories out, and both of them having tragic pieces of those stories. Those were the hardest Skype calls that night when that had happened, because we know what you're going through throughout the stress of the game throughout the day, and then to come and have that weightiness just delivered to you in that way, it's so hard. And for Joe and I, we don't relate in the heaviness of the emotion from shared experience, but we definitely were with our teammates of our season in those heavy moments and feeling those emotions through the Skype calls, because oftentimes they aren't just 10, you know, however long minutes of the show, they go on, and we get to hear a lot of what went on that day for them.
And it's hard to explain how you feel so connected with the other teams, but I think it's just the vulnerability, and only they know kind of what you're going through. You guys know.
Right.
You don't have to explain it. But.
And I think it's really, it draws you even more together. Like, we were connected before we even went on the race, but afterwards, I mean, you know, you have to think that we filmed all this in the spring and it didn't start airing until September. Yeah. So the only people that we could talk to, and y'all, I know Joe and Jerica, you guys are the same. Like, I mean, not saying like counseling, but I mean, we were each other's counselors. Like,
it was counseling.
I'm just trying. I mean, it was. Like, I'm trying to work through these emotions and what just happened, and how am I going to navigate, you know, merging these families together, and what are we going to do about Christmas? You know, it's just there's so much that goes into it that we really supported each other in. And, you know, without having these other teams to talk to, I mean, of course you have your spouse first, but, you know, to have somebody else that's going through it and understands what you're going through, you know, post race, I feel like there needs to be like a detox week or something, like where you can just like slowly integrate back into the real world. You know, Chris, we flew back from day 10 on like a Monday, and Chris and I were back at work on Tuesday morning. Like, so, and it was hard to just jump right back into the real world and not be able to tell anyone what happened. You know, so it's hard.
Well, maybe there needs. Maybe there needs. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying, everybody's asking what happened. And
who'd you meet?
Who'd you meet? And all right, tell me the truth. Did you win?
Did you meet your mom? Did you meet your dad? Your siblings?
If you buy anything over $20, they say, that's the race money. Yeah, I know you want money. I know. I just got an appetizer.
So true. I took a friend to dinner, and they were like, oh, you're picking up the tab? You won. You won. $30.
That's too funny. Well, it sounds to me that maybe what you need to do is you need to have a special Zoom meeting for every season. Everybody ought to get together after the end of every season. Not after it's aired, but when they know you guys are done. and you guys need to get on and counsel with each other. That's because you can get 100 people on these Zoom meetings.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot of counselors.
That's a lot of counseling.
From the spouse's side, I don't know if I can speak for anybody else, but, you know, I think that I tried to be really strong for Deshae because, you know, just in our relationship, I'm usually that guy. And going through the race, you know, her being emotional and actually going in, my biggest fear was not looking like, you know, a stuffed shirt or that I didn't care about anything. But then I realized that I had pent all of that emotion up for the entire 10 days. And when we actually watched the show in September, it all came out. I cried. My shirts, the front of my shirts were what I was crying at these shows so much. And the one thing that really got me, you know, the bad news was bad. And it's almost like, okay, we've seen the previous 5 seasons, so you kind of see that that's a possibility. But when Ray met Lamont and they didn't say anything, they just ran up to each other and embraced. Man, I'm getting choked up now just thinking about it, because that was it ripped my heart out, but in the most beautiful way I could possibly imagine.
I feel you on that too, Chris, because I'm more reserved emotionally. So just like you said, when we're going on this journey, I don't expect to meet anybody. So I'm like, okay, so if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. And if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. And hopefully if something bad happens, then I'll say this. But when you get there and you're just so worn out from the day and the night before and just not knowing anything, and when you get there and something happens, you're just like, oh, like, don't cry. Me, I'm like, don't cry, because if I cry, then I can't support him. So it was just like so emotional. So even if a tear wasn't coming out, it was like, it was just draining you from the inside, because I'm like, I gotta be strong for him. I gotta, you know, if he falls out, I'm gonna pick him up. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. So that was my thing. And I didn't want to, like you said, have people look at the show. I'm like, dang, she's not even, you know, she's not, I don't feel like a connection with her. I don't feel like she's there for him or supporting him in the best way. So
you don't have to.
Yeah,
you didn't have to worry about that. You didn't have to worry about that, because no, the emotion was real and true. And I think that's why so many people love the show, because it is real. You know, it's
you
real.
realize really quickly you're not an actress or an actor. Right?
That's right.
People ask all the time if it's real, and like, but it's the most real you could ever possibly be.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Whether you want it to be or not.
Yeah.
You want it to be
cry as much as we did. Like, we did not want to cry in some of our characters as much as we did, but it just happened.
It was the most emotional time of my whole life.
Yep.
Like, you can have a day like where you do something, you're just like, oh my goodness, that day. But then to have 10 days or how many other days we were out there, just back to back to back, it's just mind blowing.
Can't even imagine.
Go ahead, Ray.
And then I think this goes understated a little bit, but like for the team, for Blue Team, like for Paul to hang in there, I think he was the only one that didn't meet a relative directly. But every episode, the support that he showed, it was like never about me. I'm here for my wife. It was, to me, it's beautiful because it takes the selfishness out of it. It's all about the other person, and you can see, especially as the story unfolded, you can see she needed all the support that she could get. The show is so much about family that you meet, but the family that you have has to be there to catch you when you're gonna fall. You don't know how you're gonna fall, but you realize really quick after day one you're gonna do a lot of falling, and just to have somebody there for you, I commend them on that, because in the back of, nobody will say it, but in the back of their mind, everybody wants to meet somebody in their family. Right. And then, but whether you do or you don't, just to have that support there, like, I admire that, because that shows true love, true companionship, and true selflessness through this. And that's what the whole show is about anyway.
I appreciate you saying that, Ray.
I think for me, the emotional, and I couldn't say it before because I almost started crying. It's weird how we're talking about it, and it's almost like bringing up all these emotions all over again. But for me, the emotional part for seeing everybody meeting their family members was awesome, but also seeing everybody be a couple and be together and support each other and love each other. I mean, I don't know. I always think that the most successful relationships are there because they're surrounded by other successful relationships. And I know I have a good group of married, awesome friends who support and encourage and have fun. And I think that's important. And that's one of the things that would make me emotional on the show. So
Well, you guys are going to make us start crying. I mean, the last time we got together, we were all crying before we left. So you're going to do this to us again because it's just the nature. And it's the nature we can just feel the love. I mean, it's not something that y'all pretended for on the show. You know,
Yep.
No matter what.
Because we could have just never talked to each other ever again, but it was just something about the meeting, that first meeting. It was like a magnet.
Yeah.
And it just continues to work.
I think that's
we were crying within, like, I'm not kidding, within like 2.5 minutes we were all crying. Crying. Just like sharing stories. JD was crying, I was crying, everybody was crying over some
I
lunch.
hardly ever cry.
Over lunch.
It was lunch. We were really crying about the lunch.
We were crying about the yellow sticky rice.
Oh, you guys are fabulous. Well, I'd like to take a couple. Well, first of all, does anybody else have any questions that they want to ask anybody, or comment or anything before?
I have a quick question.
Oh,
I have a question for Joe and Jerica.
Okay, great.
If you guys could go back, what would you? If you could change one thing about your race, what would you change? Knowing what you know now, what one thing or one day would you go back to modify?
We would change day 9.
I don't know.
That's too.
No, honestly, I think we did every day to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
Like, we really fought hard. I don't think that there was any day that I felt like we needed to do something different. Like, I think that we actually really did work as a team well, and that's partially because we worked together.
Oh, for brother and sister, y'all were fabulous. My kids
Yeah.
would have been killing
We
each
got along
other.
better than the married couples.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, and I
shout
just
out
want
to
to say, I just want to say to Joe and Jerica, like, watching that first episode, you know, with the other teams, like, you guys were clearly the underdogs. Like, with the physical competitions, you start out with a physical competition. You guys, I have chills again. You guys fought your way all the way to day 9. Like, you laughed, you made us laugh. We
had a good
with
time.
You know, and it was just, you guys were so lighthearted, and I don't want to say comic relief, but you guys were the comic relief.
Oh, they were.
But it was beautiful. But you had these beautiful, deep moments, even though you weren't meeting parents, and that it wasn't heavy, but it was still like deep and beautiful moments. So just the fact that you guys are tough and amazing, and we like one of my all-time favorite teams of any season. And we just love you guys so much, and glad that we got to connect this way, and we'll continue to connect. But it's just amazing. You guys were truly the underdog story, and we loved watching you. Love you.
Aww.
You guys are gonna make us cry.
And shout out to Joe for keep going when his stomach was hurting. I was like, come on, Joe, you got it. I didn't know how to put the 10 up. I mean, it was like Deshae said, it was like you guys were the underdog, but it's like, no, show them. Yeah, come on, guys, come on, you got it. Yeah. And all the while, hair looked magnificent. I can't say for myself, but you guys did a great job and you made it look good too.
Thank you.
You all are so sweet.
Yeah, we definitely felt like the underdogs, but we also knew our story was so different. So we also realized we were going to be comedic, and that's just our personalities in general. My entire house loves to laugh. Like, our family is known for their laughter. So we wanted to make people laugh and smile as much as possible.
And
we know it's a rough journey for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you realize really quickly it's not really about the $50,000.
No,
you can just embrace it and have fun and laugh throughout the journey. Then it just makes it more fun. So.
Well, you made it fun to watch young. I mean, you guys aren't so young, but you're young compared to Jenny and I, and I often think about young people today don't take seriously the significance of family or relationships. And your sincerity and the way that you loved on these people was inspiring to us.
It was amazing.
You changed who I am.
Aww, that's so sweet.
See, I'm telling you, welcome to GenFriends Relative Race. You're gonna cry. Any GenFriends Relative Race editions, You're gonna cry.
One more question. I guess it's for all of the teams, but like, apart from the Green Notebook, what was one thing that maybe going into the show that you were thinking, oh, maybe I could get a little bit of preparation in, or try to think of a challenge they might throw at us? Were you like practicing different things together, or did it
I did 6 sit-ups before we went.
Gotta keep the core strong.
We lost weight.
Core.
We did no preparation whatsoever. We only found out we were leaving about 3 weeks before the show started, 4 weeks before the show started, and had zero clue what we were getting ourselves into. So considering all of that, we did okay.
I will say the one thing that we really prepped on, and this was kind of in the Green Notebook range, but we would watch an episode, and at the beginning we'd say, okay, you know, all the 4 different teams are starting here, they're going here, and they have this much time. And because Deshay didn't know how to read maps, we would bring out the book, and she would map her fastest route, and then I would Google the route to see how close she came to the Google map. And after about 2 weeks, she did all the mapping. She did all the mapping. I did all the driving.
Too, girl. I did all the mapping too.
So I had zero clue how to read it. I mean, I'm smart. I have a college degree. I can figure it out. But you know, it was like, well, this place to this place, and so I'd be like, oh, well, I think I would choose this one, and he'd pull it up on the GPS and be like, well, this is the quickest route, and I'd be like, oh, okay, and this is why. So I trained my brain to kind of figure out on the map. It didn't really help me that much, except for we didn't get lost but one day, so I guess it did. But you know, it was kind of necessary. If he was going to drive and I was going to map, I had to figure out how to do it. So I think that was the biggest prep that we did.
That's a good tip.
We trained a lot. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we trained a lot physically.
Yeah.
We got in the best shape of our lives, and
yeah, because I wasn't gonna be on TV looking crazy and tired. I wasn't doing it. So.
But I feel
you
like
weren't, you weren't.
I feel like I should have been practicing like defensive driving.
Man, you didn't have to drive.
Well, Dag, Anitra and Paul, I probably should have cut you off and went first because we absolutely did no physical. We did. I didn't. Raymond, I didn't. I did watch the shows, and my dad taught us how to read the map. But unlike Chris and Anitra, I said that I'm going to drive because I didn't want to be responsible for having us in California when we were supposed to be in North Carolina.
And I got the lead foot, so I didn't want us to be doing 90 and then get mad if we get pulled over and stop production. But yeah, my father-in-law told me how to read a map, and then when people found out we were going to be on the show and we had people watching, my goodness, everybody came up to me with some kind of map. Someone saying, let me show you how to read a map. You're too young to know. Your generation can't read anything. So I had people trying to give me map tips and all of that stuff. But other than that, it was just, for me, the competitor in you wants to prepare. But mostly for us, it was about, let's just go do our best, give everything we have, and see where we end up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was a great question.
And you know, for me, like, after we met, you know, not on day one, when we met initially, all of the teams, it took, and I was telling Nikki this that day, it took some of the competitive edge off of it for me because I genuinely liked everybody. So I was like, well, because like anything I've ever done, football, basketball, whatever it is, it's like kill or be killed. Let's go. Like, I don't care who it is, we will beat them. Right, but when I met them, I'm like, man, your heart goes out, your stories are similar. So you do want to win. That's always going to be in you. I hope everybody.
All right, somebody's house just fell apart.
Yeah.
What it sounds like.
Not mine, for one.
Everybody okay?
Not mine.
Everybody
Not my
all right?
kids.
I think it might have been mine. But I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you guys are talking about maps, and this is the behind the scenes piece I need. They give you the backpack full of maps. What level do they go down to?
It's just, they're state maps.
So state, at the state level.
Maps.
You don't get county maps or.
No, not
You
at
have
all.
to figure out.
Okay.
You have to figure out the city map. That's what people don't understand, and that's probably
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I didn't realize on the show is that these maps that they're giving you, they're state maps, and you know they're not going to have, especially in a big city like Charlotte or wherever. You know they're not going to have Main Street. You're not going to be able to find Main Street. Even I mean, it's just not on there.
It's
So
really
you have
easy
to get
from big
creative.
city to big city.
Yeah.
But once you're in your city, that's when it gets tricky.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that makes
for all
sense.
people coming, for all people coming after us, I pray that their families live in real cities, main cities. So you can get a city map for it. Because if you get that one relative that lives in, say, where was Blue Team from? Concord.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to get a Concord map.
Yeah, when the city has letters in it that are silent or that you you know what?
Yeah.
You like, well, that's not how that's even pronounced.
Even the big cities, though. I mean, even the big cities didn't really. I mean, you could get a big city map, but it's not going to be street level. Like you have to rely on people. Like you really aren't going to get a perfect street level map. We got lucky maybe once or twice where like it was our relative happened to be downtown area and it was like a visitor's guide. We're like, oh, there's Main Street or whatever. So we got lucky a couple times, but I mean that is a shot in the dark. I mean that's one of the things that was most surprising. The second thing I would say is the sleep deprivation. We were not prepared for how long the days and the hours were. You know, the days were gonna go by.
It's like a newborn baby.
Darren, our producer Darren, at day one, like we were so excited, and we, met the first family I've ever met, and we ended up staying up until like 2:00 in the morning, just visiting with them, and then we had to get up at 5, and so we were on like 3 hours sleep, and the next morning we were like this, because we're not young anymore, and so our producer every day he left us after filming, he told the family, he was like, I need you to try to have them in bed by midnight. You guys will see each other again, but they have to sleep. And that was probably one of the best things he did for us because it wasn't always right at 12, but we tried to keep it pretty close to it because we were really on the struggle bus on day 2. We were tired.
I'll bet. The last thing we want is somebody falling asleep. I mean, it was scary enough with Joe and Jerica when that tried to cut them off.
Yeah. So Joe and Jerica, did the guy ever stop or no? It was just run you guys off the road and that's it.
Yeah, there was no stopping at that point. Like, our production team was so scared.
They thought we had like flipped the car and done all kinds of crazy stuff. So they were on the radio like, "Are you guys okay?"
Yeah, the traffic was in front of them, so they didn't quite see all that went down.
Right. That was so scary.
That we disappeared. Yeah. So it really scared them, and they were like, "Do you guys need to stop? Do you all need a minute?" And I'm like, "We're okay."
No, we're still on the clock. We're gonna keep going.
Like, it depends. Is this a production stop or is this on us?
Oh gosh, that's too funny. Oh gosh. Well, we've kept you guys for a long time, but what I wanted.
Dan's kids here?
Yeah, Dan, did your kids come?
One of them walked in and I was like, "Hey, do you want to?" He's just like, "Nope," and he just turned around and walked out. So I texted my wife. I was like, "Hey, do you and the kids want to come up?" My wife's like, "No, we'll pass. They're all in their pajamas." I was like, "Who cares?" Like, these guys are probably in their pajamas from the waist down. So like, who cares?
From the waist up, it's fine.
Exactly. Well, there's this meme going around social media right now saying, okay, at 9 o'clock, it's time to change from your day pajamas to your night pajamas.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I had to get dressed for this.
And I put, you mean we've got to change?
Well, and the dangerous thing is you're in the house and all you're doing is stress eating.
Yeah.
And if you're not in your pajamas, you're in sweats. So like in 4 weeks, we're all going to get our jeans out.
And we're not going to
Okay, I saw something really funny. It says like at the end of every week, you need to get your jeans out because your pajamas are going to lie to you all day long. You can have that other cookie. You get your jeans out, you try them on.
Exactly.
I have a last question.
Go ahead. And then I just wanted to end with something, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What living relative have you not met yet? that you know about? Anybody? No?
I have not met my sister yet.
Okay.
Well, hopefully that's in the works. You'll have to report back.
I've never
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said you'll have to report back if that happens. You'll have to let us know.
Oh yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. All right.
I haven't met my paternal brothers yet. Well, one of them passed away, from what I understand, but I still have two that are living. They're significantly older than me, so I haven't met them yet.
Let us know if that comes to pass, okay?
We've met everybody, I think, other than maybe some stray cousins, but we
stray cousins.
Stray cousins out there.
Don't feed them, they'll stay.
Any stray cousins, get in contact. They're looking for you.
That's funny.
JD and Jen, anybody y'all would like to meet that you haven't met yet?
We've met everyone. In fact, we've met probably a total of about 200 people at this point.
In fact, here's big news. We're actually, we've sold our house where we live right now in Draper, and we're moving to Nephi where his aunt and cousins live. We're building a house there right now.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty.
I'm going home.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
And how far away are those two locations?
We're about 45 minutes away, but it makes it hard on my married kids who were kind of, and my family's all here, so it's a big life change. It's going to be a big adjustment, but
again, my
we're
girl's
excited.
supporting me.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Well, keep us updated on all that. That's wonderful. How fun is that? That's okay. I will not cry. All right. Joe and Jerica, anybody that you wanted to meet that you haven't met? That as you look at your list of people that you thought, hey, that would have been fun. We need to contact these people.
I think just some of the connections with some of our cousins.
Yeah.
Trying to find still like exactly the person that connects us. But.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to say, Joe and Jerica, I loved the part on your Where Are They Now where they showed your footage of your mom meeting her sister, right? Or
her cousin.
Her cousin.
Yeah.
Her first cousin. That was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was such a fun experience to bring them together because they do look so much alike.
They do.
They were, for her, it was, for Patricia, it was her first meeting of a relative on that side of her family.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like her meeting us and then meeting my mom, and like it was just a special time.
Almost the same person though, like hearing them, we did lunch together, we did museums, all kinds of stuff. And they were just like best friends, like they'd always known each other. It's so cool.
It's really cool to be able to make those other connections outside. Because, you know, on day 5, when I met Becky and her husband, you know, I was the first biological relative that she had met.
Right.
Since then, I've been able to introduce, you know, they've not met in person because we're lots of states away, but, you know, she's been in touch with my dad because they're first cousins, and my dad's sister, and just kind of filling in some of those gaps. It's really been interesting to see and to hear about.
Yeah, the show just keeps on giving. I mean, it doesn't stop at the end of a season. It just continues to keep giving. And I think that's one of the most special things about the show is, you know, the season may be over. Yes, Laura?
I have a question. Have you got, in all your publicity meets and things, have you met someone who has changed their mind about seeking out their biological family based on the experience that you shared on television? Has anyone actually reached out to tell you that?
Oh, actually, one of my co-workers, after she knew we were on the show, we had a a watch party. So her and her husband have been together since they were in the 6th grade. He never knew his dad or his mom because he's adopted, and then she never met her dad. So he had already did the ancestry DNA. So they actually hit him back, and they're talking. And she told me around episode 3 that she sent hers off, and she actually met her dad.
Wow.
Wow, that's somebody really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had several friends in the similar situations that are like, you know, watching the show has just inspired me to like just, you know, rip the Band-Aid off and try to find this biological family that we're either estranged from or we don't know, or you know, I'm adopted, so I'm looking for this person, and I've just always been scared, but all the teams that we've watched have been so brave, and it's just so inspiring, and we want to do the same thing. So, I mean, the show just keeps on going. I mean, I could talk for a month about all of the, you know, people who have reached out saying, you know, you've inspired me to do this, or, you know, please, you know, tell JD this, or we love Ray and tell teacher this, or whatever it is. It's just really cool. The show it's life-changing still. And, you know, we're coming up on, our season is coming up on a year. We met almost a year ago. And so it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So,
a year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anybody else?
My boss actually, well, my old boss actually, after the show, she said, hey, come to me, let me show you something. She sent me a picture. She's adopted as well. I didn't know that before we went on the show. So she's adopted, never met her mom or dad. And she showed me a letter from her mom. And apparently her mom's still living. She still's never met her, but just a whole letter saying, you know, I never wanted to give you away. I just want to let you know I love you. I want the best for you in your life. And I'm not with you, but I want you to be happy. And I know I made the right decision. Just that, you know what I mean? And those are things people don't share with you until you share yourself and show your own vulnerability, and then they do that.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. The lives, your own lives are changed, and changed so many lives, so many other lives. And it's going to continue, like we said. It's going to continue. I know that several of you are still are doing things. I know Anitra and Paul started their podcast back up again. You've got another
yes
episode of your podcast. And so how often do you think you're going to be doing your podcast? I'll make sure the link is on the show notes so people can find you. So is this going to be a weekly thing, or
we're going to try to,
we don't know yet.
Yeah, we're thinking we're going to try to at least make it every other week, but it might be weekly. I'm not sure though. We still have to work that out. And I guess kind of leading up to the show, whenever hopefully the show gets recorded, and when the show, you know, is about to start up, we'll be doing
7.
Yeah, we'll definitely do weekly for sure.
Okay, great. Well, good. I'll put the link in there so people can continue to follow y'all and your wonderful
That's right.
podcast.
Do we need to say it?
Do you what?
Go ahead.
I didn't know if we need to say it again. It's After the Race podcast. And yeah.
After the Race podcast. Yeah. Look, advertise yourself. That's what I'm doing right now. If anybody has anything they want to advertise, go for it. Do it. Plug it right now. Plug it.
Go check out After the Race podcast. I'm a plug for you.
That's right. Yes. Absolutely. Now, Joe, what are you up to?
Oh, not much.
Oh, yes, you are.
There's something in there.
I do want to say you have to watch the After the Race podcast because we are probably the biggest fans. We are obsessed with it. I mean, if nothing else, just to hear Anitra's laugh, it is worth it.
Yes.
I want to trademark that.
Iconic.
Hey, I've still got one of the producers working on making a laugh track for a ringtone. It's gonna happen.
That's hysterical. Well, Joe's being modest, but he's got a great YouTube channel where he's sharing his comedic wits,
just everything, all the things,
helping us laugh, his rapping skills, all sorts of things. So follow Joe, get on there and follow and subscribe, and his hair, follow his hair. we were laughing, Joe. You got to know that these Zoom meetings will we can have 100 people on here if we wanted, and we said your hair was going to take up like 99 spots. So just so you know, we love you.
I want to know why Joe's hair doesn't have its own Instagram account yet.
Exactly. It should. It should. And Jerica, you're writing. You write beautifully. You are such a good writer. So.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to say, I don't think Jerica gets enough kudos for herself because she's darling and just so cute. We loved watching the both of you.
She's just like a little sunflower. She's like a little ray of sunshine. She's adorable. I want to put her in my pocket.
Yeah. I just want to give her a hug, but we can't.
Jerica has a lot of just great inspirational things
That's right.
that she writes about. And,
Absolutely.
you know,
Beautiful.
it's in this day of just like scrolling and scrolling and, oh, there's a picture and scrolling.
Yeah.
And like you see a bunch of words and
Yeah.
I don't know what made me stop because,
Yeah.
you know, who takes that time? But I did. And I was like, wow, I
absolutely.
really love this. So
Yeah,
Like-
writings by Jerica, right?
Yes,
Exactly.
and
Beautiful.
Instagram. You can follow you there.
Beautiful. They're beautiful. Yeah, all these links are going to go up. So if you've got something to plug, you got to say it. So I'll put your link up. Anybody else? Although I do need to ask JD, when is your counseling service going to start? Because we all said we want you to be our life coach. So
Work on that. We got to.
At 6situps.com.
So you know, you've got a fan base wanting that. So we
You're
all
so
want you to.
nice.
No, I'm not being nice. I'm being truthful. So
He inspires a lot of people around here, and he's in high demand. He gets a lot of texts and phone calls, and he's always helping someone.
Motivational Moments by JD.
there we go. Absolutely. That's
That
a
guy
great.
has the purest heart of.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep
Agreed.
saying it. Yeah, I mean, my goodness, just he stops life when he talks or types or what have you. You can see it's nothing phony, nothing contrived. It's all
right.
genuinely how
From
he
the heart.
feels. Yep.
Absolutely. You're going on that Instagram page, Motivational Moments by JD.
My lady.
Get it going. We want it. We want it.
Speechless.
That would be fabulous. I'm telling you, we would all really like it. Anybody else? I know we've kept you for a long. Wow, look at what time it is. I knew this was going to happen. You know, our normal 40 minutes has gone to over an hour.
I like the bands on your arm too.
Yeah, I was just about to say
They look
that.
beautiful.
Oh
I
yeah.
was just about to say that.
Well, I sat down and started pulling everybody in and went, I didn't even put my shirt on. What am I thinking? So I quickly grabbed my bands and my hat. What am I thinking? I didn't put my shirt on. So, but you guys know that I love you. We love you on GenFriends. And
We
you
love you
know,
too.
you know that you're invited back at any time. We love talking to you. Keep in touch with us. Let us know what's going on as you continue on your journeys.
The rare sighting. This is our oldest.
Nice to meet everybody.
Like Bigfoot.
Hello. Thanks for joining us. See, Dan's kids wouldn't do it. So Dan, you'll have to say, guys, you missed out on your big opportunity. But they'll watch Dan's kids. When you're watching this afterwards, you should have come on. We're all telling you, you should have come on. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your evening and stay safe and keep in touch. And we love you. And we're so
Stay safe,
grateful.
stay home.
Stay safe,
Yes,
stay home.
love you guys.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Love you guys.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.